Today's message is gonna be one of my greatest, one of my most important messages that I've ever posted here on this channel. And I'm not gonna throw in a whole bunch of B-rolls and all these little edits and high dopamine memes and stuff like that, like I usually do. I just want to sit here and have an honest conversation with you. Now, I haven't heard not even one influencer or one person, one self-help guru even discuss this, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because they're afraid to speak up about this. Maybe it's because they are afraid they'll lose their platform. So, I don't know, and I'm not here to judge either, by any means. Now, there's been this huge trend, this huge movement within our kind of manosphere red pill community called NoFap, which encourages young men to abstain, to refrain from masturbation and porn, right? And though it started off as a healthy, wholesome movement, I believe it's become quite the opposite. In fact, I would even go as far as to say it's destroying the lives of young men. And I know a lot of you are going to come up on here right now and be like, oh, that's ridiculous, Dre. NoFap has drastically improved my life. It's made me a better man, right? It's made me more powerful, more confident. It's made me better with women. It's made me more this. It's made me more that. And that's the thing. You think you've mastered masturbation, but NoFap is masturbation. And look, I know a lot of you will disagree with me on this. So before I discuss what I mean by that, let me first tell you a quick story. Before I was married, the most I had ever gone was 1 month of NoFap. I remember I would try so hard to just hold out, and refrain from sin. And I would have these, great streaks, right? Like we all do sometimes. But eventually, it'd just be a matter of time before I would relapse. And I'm sure you can relate. And what happens after you relapse? You think to yourself, F it. I already messed up anyways, so let me just go on here and just binge and do what I want to do, have a little bit of fun, and then I'll start again tomorrow, or I'll start again next week or next month. And then you go on this binge and you spill your seed until you finally feel guilty enough to then want to change again, right? For instance, I remember when I hit that 1 month streak, I remember that night, right when I hit it, right when I feel like I, achieved that milestone, I remember just thinking to myself hours before, or actually a couple of days before, I was like, I can't take this anymore. And I had it kind of planned out. I was like, I know once I hit my 1 month milestone, I know, I was already thinking about the videos I want to watch and what I was going to do and how I was going to satisfy myself. And so I already knew right when I hit that milestone, I believe that night, I from what I remember, I was up till around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, just watching porn and fapping over and over and over again until my wiener was just raw and limp. Pretty much just making up for all the, all my lost time. And then I was just right back into my addiction again. I spent a whole month feeling like the man, but then in an instant, I was right back to just being a sinner. And that right there, that is the problem with NoFap. This video is about to get good, bro. Listen. The problem with NoFap is it's a man-made movement. And what happens when something is man-made? It never lasts. It may last for a moment, right? But eventually, it fades. It falls apart. And so what NoFap is it's man's way of shortcutting the process, trying to cut corners, opposed to doing the one thing that will actually cure your addiction. And so check this out. This is worth your gas money right here. The best way to know if you are on the right track towards success or not is to ask yourself this question. Is the plan of action that I'm taking right now, can I maintain this for the rest of my life? If the answer is yes, then cool, man. You're good. Keep doing it. If the answer is no, it's only a matter of time before I just fail again, before I fall short, then you need a different plan of action. Look, bro, you might have the right motive, but your plan of action is not sustainable. You won't, you can't keep it going. And so from my personal experience and what I've seen, all my brothers, all of you watching, NoFap is unsustainable. And I'm sure most of you can agree. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, and you're getting frustrated thinking, well then, if NoFap isn't the solution, what the hell is? Now check it out. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna flip the script here. So, hey, whatever your thoughts are on God or the universe, or whether you believe in heaven or hell, whatever you believe, just listen to me here. I promise it'll make sense either way. Now, the enemy, Satan, he wants us men focused on two things: our sin and doing good deeds. Right? Being a good guy, making sure I'm doing right. And I know that sounds wild, right? I know that doesn't really make sense, but just hear me out. Now, if he can get us to focus on our sin, what does that do to us? It makes us feel what? Guilty. It makes us feel, we get that feeling of shame, right? We feel unworthy. We feel emasculated. We feel like a weasel. And we get this feeling of distance from God, right? Over time, we become more and more separated from God, or at least that's what it feels like, thus killing our motivation to want to grow. And because we feel so low and so down and out and dark and depressed, what do? We focus on number 2, doing good deeds, doing good works. In other words, doing NoFap, right? Because if we do that, if we do good, then we'll feel like men again. We'll feel purposeful. And yeah, don't get me wrong. It may work for a moment. It may work for a season. You may feel like you're living your most purposeful life. You may feel like you're being the best version of yourself. But you and I both know this ain't gonna last. It's just a matter of time. Eventually, your willpower is going to fade, and you're gonna fall short again, and you're gonna end up in this endless cycle, this endless loop. And this is what happens. This is what happens when you focus on sin and you focus on doing good deeds. Sin makes you feel low. Good deeds make you feel high. Makes you feel like you're the man, right? And that's what I mean when I say that NoFap is masturbation. And I would go as far as to say NoFap is sin. It is sinful. Oh, whoa, Dre, you're completely off your rocker. What are you saying? How am I sinning if I'm not watching prawn? Easy answer. Instead of stroking your dick, you're stroking your ego. Look at me. Look what I've done. I've went a whole month on NoFap. I've went 2 months on NoFap. Oh yeah, well I've went 3. Oh yeah, well I've went a whole year. Oh yeah, bro? Okay, well, okay. Look, you may have gone a few months without fapping, which is cool, I guess. Good job. Whatever. But you and I both know you're gonna fall again. We know this. Pride comes before the fall. And let's say, even if you did, say you never watched prawn again or masturbated, you still lie, still gossip, still judge others, still envy, still lust. For instance, on our Discord, I remember a few months back, I wrote in there, I was like, hey guys, I went a full year without watching prawn. Whoopee, good for me, right? And then I thought to myself, I was like, so what? Yeah, sure, it's been a minute, but there hasn't been a day gone by where I haven't played back those images in my mind. There hasn't been a day where I haven't had a lustful thought. I'm still a sinner. Sin is sin. But I don't tell anybody that, right? I got to keep up this facade. Make sure everybody knows that I'm, Dre Drexler is conquering his sin. No, bro, I'm still a sinner. A big one, in fact. Sin is sin. I mean, think about it. Most of our sin, most of our addictions are never really cured. We just substitute them for new ones. Oh, bro, I haven't fapped in over 10 years. Yeah, but, okay, you still sleep with 3 random new chicks every week. Or vice versa. Oh, I don't involve myself in degenerate sex. Oh, yeah, well, you sure as hell watch it. It's in the shows you binge. It's in the music you listen to. Again, hey, look, this is what the devil wants. He wants us to idolize our sin and idolize our good deeds, because both end in destruction. Now, you may be sitting here thinking to yourself, all right, Dre, well, I'm kind of confused. if we shouldn't focus on our sin and we shouldn't focus on doing good deeds, well then what the hell do we focus on, bro? Phenomenal question. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. I know as soon as I say this, I'm going to get probably hundreds, if not thousands, of unsubscribes for this. But hey, look, it's the only way. And that's Christ. Christ is the answer. Christ is the one that we focus on. Bent knees create breakthroughs. Now, I know this might not make sense to you. I know this may sound a little wild. How can Christ just cure all my problems, Dre? I'll tell you exactly how. So look, what have we learned so far in this video? We've learned that, number one, trying not to sin just leads to exhaustion and guilt. And at the end of the day, you're still just a sinner anyways. And number two, trying to do good deeds, do good works, that just leads to pride and an inflated ego. So I would even go as far as to say, stop doing good. I can only imagine all the religious people coming out right now and, oh, Dre, that's just blasphemous. But listen, I really feel like God's given me this message, bro. So just continue to hear me out here. Because no matter how great your streak is, look, bro, you're still just a sinner. And if you feel like you're the man and that you got Jesus points because you're on a 3-month streak, that's just your ego talking. That right there, that is straight pride. And it says in God's word, it says there's 6 things that God hates, 7 that's an abomination. And that's a haughty look. It's pride. God does not like that. And I've seen this many times, bro. I've seen many men, including myself, who are on these streaks thinking to themselves, I'm doing good. But the Bible says only God is good. It even says that our good works are like filthy rags. And to put things in context, for those of you that don't know, back then, what it meant by a filthy rag meant a rag that a woman would use to clean up her blood when she was on her period. And that's what God equivalates our good works to. Basically meaning even our best deeds, our most righteous acts, even those are tainted with sin. And so, hey, look, even when we do have those times in our lives where we feel like we're doing good because we aren't sinning as much, hey, it don't matter. We're still sinners. And what happens to sinners? If you believe like I do, sinners are condemned to hell. But we like them big butts. There's good news. The gospel is the good news. What is the gospel? The gospel is that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him, Jesus Christ, will not perish but have eternal, everlasting life. So hey, look, listen. Jesus lived a perfect life, so we didn't have to. He did the work. He died so that we could be saved. This is why I say NoFap is sin. Why? Because you're putting your works above God's. And you're saying that what Christ did, that wasn't good enough. But you know what is good enough? Me. My works. My righteousness. Come on, bro. When you focus on good deeds, you are literally taking glory away from what Jesus did on the cross. Rather than saying, look at what Jesus did, you're saying, look at what I did. This is why I hate religion. Religion spits on the cross. Religion says, no, God, you're not enough, but my works are. But you know what Christ says? Christ says, I did the work. You're good. Just relax and just focus on me. It's crazy, bro. Like as men, and we all do this, even me included, we sit here thinking to ourselves, oh man, I can't sin, man. I'm just trying so hard not to sin. But it's like, but you're still a sinner. No matter how hard you try, you're still a sinner. Even if it's like the smallest little sin in the world, even if it was like an unintentional little sin, hey, it's still sin. And it's condemnable to hell. You having even just the one little accidental lustful thought, that's just as condemnable as a rapist or a pedophile. And us men, we get this inflated ego that, we tried harder. Bro, nobody goes to heaven for trying harder. The only way to get to heaven is the blood Jesus Christ shed upon that cross and putting your faith in that, believing in that for your salvation. The second you think you're going to heaven because you were a good boy and you had some good NoFap streaks, you're making yourself an idol. You're literally putting yourself above God. And hey, look, I would hate to meet my maker this way. I would hate to meet God face to face saying, hey, what you did, who you are, isn't good enough. But what I did in my life, all the good deeds, that was good. Let me in. Yeah, you should let me in. My brother, hey, look, listen. Put your focus solely on Jesus. Put your faith in him. Begin a relationship with him. And guess what's going to happen when you do this? Guess what's going to happen when you start to grow and develop in him? He's going to start to then do good work through you. Right? So all those good deeds and all those good works that you were trying so hard to do, it's now going to become effortless because it's no longer you trying to do them. It's Christ doing it through you. And I know this might not make sense to a lot of you who are kind of new to this faith, but listen, hear me out. God loves you, bro. He wants you focused on him, not on your sin, not on your guilt and shame, not on your good deeds and good works. He wants you focused solely on the work that was done on the cross, on the death that was paid on the cross. Why do you feel like you need to conquer sin when he already did? There's a story, an incredible story, of a young man. He asks his pastor, he says, Pastor, if I want to follow Christ, do I have to stop smoking pot? The pastor replied, no. And then he said, I don't think you heard me right. Pastor, if I have to start following Christ, do I have to stop smoking marijuana? The pastor then replied again, no. He said, young man, think about this. Do you have to get clean before you take a shower? The young man replied, no. You take a shower to get cleaned up. And the pastor said, it's the same thing with Jesus. You don't clean up your life to follow Jesus. You follow Jesus, and then he begins to clean up your life. Did you hear what I said? He begins to clean up your life. And therefore, you don't do good works and good deeds for God. You just now allow him to do it through you. All your job is to be open and be a vessel for him to use. And don't get it twisted. I'm not, this ain't an invitation or like some excuse to just sin and live for the devil because, Jesus forgives me. No. What I'm saying is just whenever you do sin, hey, it's all good. Just get back up and continue to follow Christ. Think of it this way. If you were in a long, dark tunnel, and in that tunnel was all kinds of bugs, spiders, cobwebs, mud, dirt, snakes, and while you're traversing through this tunnel, you can't see, and you're just tripping all over the place, falling all over the place, slipping everywhere, getting eaten up by all the bugs and termites. But up in the far distance, you see a small little light signifying that there is a way out. What would you do? Would you just be like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna, just sit here with all the bugs and just get eaten up? Or would you follow the light? You would follow the light, right? Jesus is that light. And no matter how many times you fall and stumble, even when you're at your weakest, even when you feel like giving up and you don't want to follow the light anymore, but then, a couple weeks goes by, maybe a couple months or even years, and then you realize, no, I do need to get back up and continue to follow the light again. That's good, man. That's how you make it out. And that's a reflection right there of your life with Christ. Look to him. Rest in him. Rest in his grace. Rest in his love. Whenever you sin, whenever you fall short, whenever you relapse over and over and over and over again, rest in his mercy. The more you do that, that's how your heart starts to slowly but surely, it starts to transform, right? And it may not be right away. You may not overcome all your addictions in just an instant. Like for me, for instance, I was addicted to prawn for 16 years. But God was patient. And he's still patient with me. And he'll be patient with you. He just first wants you to come to him. His arms are wide open, ready for you. And that right there, that is the good news. And I don't know about you, bro, but that makes me feel like at ease. It makes me feel calm, relaxed. I got this like sense of relief, right? Like this burden has been lifted off my shoulders. It literally puts a smile on my face knowing that God is enough. Even if I just committed the biggest sin and then I got in a car right after and got in a car crash and I died. Hey, I'm good. I'm covered. I'm covered by the blood. Even if I just relapsed, that's okay. That's what Christ died for. He knew I was going to do that. And I know this sounds just way too good to be true. And that's because it is. It is. It's too good. We're undeserving of it, right? But at the same time, that's what helps us grow as men. We grow by grace, not by guilt. And see, that right there, the more I just understand this, the more I understand his love and his mercy, and the more connected I get with him, the more I fall in love with him, the more I just can't shut up about it. The more passionate I become, and the good works just start flowing out of me naturally without even having to try. The more I focus on Christ, it's just like, I don't really feel like fapping anymore. Don't really feel like watching prawn anymore. Kind of just turns me off. But this only happens when you follow and focus your eyes on Christ. So hey, look, if you want to start this new journey with Christ today, I got a video down below, down in the description. It's a little link. You can click on that. This video will take you through a whole guided prayer that will get you started on your journey with Christ. And then I'll also put in another little link within that video of a 30-day Christ following challenge. Now, this is, a part of the Wake Up, O Sleeper challenge. I have this on the last day of the 21-day challenge. I have this in there, but I decided just to kind of take it and give it to you guys today totally for free. Because I think it's extremely important for all of us men right now. So hey, look, no need to count all your NoFap streaks. Just stop all that. Stop focusing on your sin. Stop focusing on doing good works, and just focus on Christ. It's simple. Appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next vid. Please give this one a nice big thumbs up if you dug it. Hit the notifications to be informed when I drop a new one, and I'll catch you on the next vid. Peace always.